Dear reader, episode or recording 12. Gonna make some notes while I walk down the street. Need to take this section of Morgan Freeman going over all the different psi abilities and move that into the scene where Joe's talking to all the comedians. And have it so that each comedian gets the same choice David had in the beginning of the movie. They can all pick one psi ability, whatever they want. And then after they cure homelessness, they all get their special power, and David loses his. He can no longer telepathize with anyone, even if he wanted to. Even if it didn't drive him nuts. Crazy. Bonkers. Lulu. Alright, listener. That's right, I screwed up and the script was cut off. I've restored it back in the Royal Palace courtyard. The Palace courtyard, whatever the fuck I'm calling it. Afternoon crowd is here. Kids out of school. Teenagers out of school. Train. Before I continue with the School of Comedy script, just a further or a opinion or a joke or a bit about these unionized liquor and weed store employees striking. Does that really need to be a unionized position just because it's government? I'm not saying whatever. Back to the script. Where did I leave off? Joel, why comedians? Morgan, it's the ultimate fuck you. Remember your chat with Jimmy? Joel, yes. Morgan, if you think about it, Joel, comedians are more intelligent than all those so-called educated geniuses. Who else can become successful by simply talking into a mic and saying almost anything they fucking please? This is true freedom of thought, Joel. Joel, so it's a fuck you to society from comedians? Morgan, and other like-minded individuals don't need to be comedians. Don't need to be comedian. If you love and trust your dentist, they can be part of the movement too, anonymously. Joel, do you think this would end homelessness? Morgan, I don't know, but I think you're BBD. Should have photographic memory. Just memorize everyone that comes to this park. Every time they came here that I saw them. And I just walked up to them and say like 5 days ago, your dog shit over there, you didn't pick it up. Joe, do you think this would end homelessness? Morgan, I don't know, but I think if I were in your position, I'd try. Your friend Elon isn't going to solve this one. Why he doesn't care, I'm not sure. I didn't realize I'm God, and I realize I'm God and should know everything. That's not exactly how it works, Joe. If it did, this would be a pretty quick, boring movie. This would be a pretty boring movie. I think why I like digital books more than anything else is I can adjust the size of the font. It seems like my eyes take a while to wake up, and then they start to fall asleep. And if I adjust the font size, I can just keep going and going and going, like the Energizer bunny. Morgan winks at the camera, a quick, cheeky break. Joel, couldn't you put yourself in my position? You're God. Morgan, not like that, Joe. Start with your buddy Elon. He's doing fuck all for the homeless at the moment. Anyway, and you could use some good karma. He can help you with all the secret financial transactions, or his team can, whatever. Joel, okay. Morgan. How hard would it be to build a studio with fresh air so you could record in the fresh air? Clear sinuses. But also noise proof. Grok figured that out. Morgan, if you tell him about this conversation, tell him I'm happy for Doge, but it's pointless if that money saved doesn't eventually help every American, not just those looking to build a company. I'm not saying asking for a few billion to get the fund going, but if he offers, take it. Joe, understood. Morgan. Sometimes it's like the Kobo has to warm up. Big delay in pages for a second and then it's loaded or something, I don't know. Maybe just talk too fast. Reader, listener, Grace, Betty, friends and family, past, present, and future. I mean, let's be realistic. He has 14 kids, and the only way the press ever finds out about his latest baby is when he tells them. I think he's good with secrets and money. Joel, agreed. Morgan, next, bring Tony into the conversation. Tell him about this incident. See if he has a Morgan story of his own. Joel, Willie, Morgan, ask him. Joel, I bet he has a story. Morgan. I can read the page faster than I can turn the page. That's the only problem. I bet you have a story, Joe, when you're not telling on air. Joe, fair enough. Tony first. Why? Morgan, he's basically one step away from helping the homeless. He already does. But with a stipulation, only comedians. train. Morgan. He's basically one step away from helping the homeless. He already does, with a stipulation. Only comedians. Tony's already gotten comedians off the street, or at least out of their vans. One of his top questions for comedians is about their living situation. He's already scoping out his next victim, a funny person with a sad story he can promote. Joel, yeah, that's Tony. Morgan, unless, of course, Joel, you think Tony has a soft spot for the disabled because he sees it... Can't remember what the fuck I wrote. He sees it as a financial opportunity. A group of individuals to book and take advantage of financially. Joel, Tony doesn't need the money. Morgan, exactly. So why does he have a soft spot for every retard or cripple that comes on this show? The more disabled, the more he loves them. It's almost creepy, no? Joel, I never thought of it that way, but no, I don't think of it as creepy. Morgan, it's almost like it was his calling to help out this one particular group of individuals on the planet, disabled comedians. Joel, his calling. Did you tell him to do that? Joel, his calling? Question mark. Did you tell him to do that? Morgan, not a chance, Joel. Cute Chinese baby alert. Chinese baby heading for puppy dog. Grandpa's just showing the dog, not letting him pet. Good idea, Grandpa. Nothing's worse than bringing Nothing worse than bringing your grandchild home with a big dog bite on his arm. It's not good at all. Morgan, not a chance, Joe. Whatever reason Tony has is his. I have no idea, but you're welcome to ask. I'm sure he'll share, especially if you share this story with him. Joe, so Tony becomes second in charge? Morgan, you want a hierarchy in your organization? Joe, no, never mind. Morgan, just be like you've always been with your friend. Tell him this plan. Let him use his own skills and connections to expand the cause, anonymously. You don't need to worry about the specifics of the organization. If it's only you and Tony, then you two make the decisions. 50-50, Joni, or Tony and Joe. Together would be Joiny. Sounds gay. Decisions, and if you decide it's too time consuming to talk over every donation, then allocate a certain I know I say a lot of racist sounding shit, but these Chinese grandpas are really quite good. This isn't the one that I took a picture of a long time ago, put on Dear Grace. It's a different guy, because his baby's tiny. And the other guy had a bigger baby. Will this park still be here when I have a grandchild? I don't know. And if you decide it's too time consuming to talk over every donation, then allocate a certain amount to Tony, to yourself, to your daughters, your wife, to whoever you like to disperse it to. Joe, got it. Morgan, then treat it like the comments on your podcast. Ignore the results of the donations. If it works, the receiving donor will come back into your algorithm, and your volunteer will see exactly who The money's helping and how. From there, it's an easy decision. Send more money, help more people, or don't. If there's no results, or the social media influencer suddenly disappears after your 20k donation, don't worry about it. Find another person, organization, church, whatever. Any organization, person with boots on the ground and a mentality that the trains won't drive them nuts. Problem is, rush hour is just when I'm starting to wake up, so this is when I want to record. Tell the whole world to fuck off. Something noisy in the background too, but just don't give a fuck. Any organization / person with boots on the ground and mentality that this is a problem the smartest people in the world, comedians, are going to solve. Joel, make it viral. Morgan, in a sense, yes, but subtly manage the algorithm, make it your bitch. Joel, you watch Breaking Bad? Morgan, I do. Surprised? Joel, not with anything anymore, at least not after this conversation. Then what? Morgan, and then keep going. Do you not have other friends with other interests? Joe, of course. Morgan, then be patient. Take your time. You can't cure the problem overnight, but be observant. When you get an opportunity, either by a guest or friend or whatever, take it. Just use your, pardon the pun, God-given talent. And keep interviewing people. I'm not going to tell you who to put on, but there are people in the world who have helped people get out of homelessness, who are doing it daily, the best they can. And those are the stories you get Jimmy Darts on, get MD Motivator on. You know the list, Joe. Need to find a way to start telling while you're doing this. Joe. Guy behind me is smoking and eating a banana. I cannot make this shit up. Joe, do you think this will end homelessness? Morgan, I think this will push the cause to a crescendo. Eventually, the authorities are going to notice the problem is reducing. They'll probably take credit for it, even though it has nothing to do with them, and everything to do with your secret organization, cult, if you will. Which is why we record all the donations to who and when. When the time is right, we may or may not need the proof. Joe, huh? Morgan. The good news for me is the slow page turn might be able to get 30 minutes out of this scene, or the rest of the scene. The good news is there's no advertisers in this podcast. Unless the North Face wants to purchase 20 founding memberships, and then I'll throw them a cookie or two. But no contract. I just want to see 20 North Face employees sign up for the founder, drop $1,000 each. Don't even ask for a discount, full price. And I'll definitely do an entire episode about that. And the North Face probably has a publicity department. Probably mostly just to refute claims of their clothes being made in China. Although they probably are, I really don't have a clue. Anyways, back to the movie. Let them take credit for now. It's better to shove it in their face at the end, more dramatic. Then eventually, other organizations will form, probably not anonymous. Basically, all the other followers of the movements will form their own offshoots. Some will succeed, some will fail. It's only the effort that matters. Morgan continued. In the end, it'll be your choice. The world will recognize all of individual. It's like when that caffeine kicks in, mouth stops working. Morgan, in the end, it'll be your choice. The world will recognize all the individuals who help TikTokers, but your organization will remain anonymous. If the source of funding to the TikTokers comes from 5,000 random members of your cult using random amounts on random days, random nights, random weeks, random seconds, who will notice? Nobody. And all the donations via gift cards, totally untraceable. There, I helped you out with a tip, Joe. Joe, thanks. Or unless you, or I guess your cult as a group, decides to take credit for it, show all the professional... Morgan. Or unless you, or I guess your cult as a group, decides to take credit for it, show all the, quote, professionals, quote, who didn't do fuck all to help the homeless, that, quote, simple-minded, quote, comedians could cure the issue with their laughs and compassion. Joe, I'm confused about the specifics. How do you get someone off the street permanently? Morgan, same way you get a comedian off your couch, you support them with shelter and food, encouragement, a little bit of weed, occasional beer, a few bucks until they get on their feet. Not you directly, of course, but the concept is the same. The difference is I'm not asking or suggesting comedians directly help the homeless by letting some drug addicts sleep on their couch. That'd be a disaster. Since most comedians are either addicts or in recovery, either would be a great scenario. Joe, agreed. What we need is like a homelessness rehab. Basically exactly like rehab, they take care of you. They give you a room, they give you food, give you space. It's even better than rehab because they don't try and fucking cure you. They just get you off the street, somewhere safe, like a hotel room. Somehow monitored, not by camera. And then you just go through the process. What is that you need? Place to stay? Alright, here's all our resources. You need mental health support? No problem, here's the resources. You're starving? No problem, here's some food. It's like a halfway house for the homeless. That's better than rehab, because chances are it wasn't their fault that they're on the street anyways. And even if it was, everyone fucking deserves a second fucking chance. Joel agreed. Morgan, however, if a homeless person gets back on their feet and decides to help a former street friend or whoever, at least they, as a former homeless person, know what to expect. It'd be their decision to help. Joel. Shelters keep people from getting cold, but how many people did they actually take off the street? I'd like to know. Joe, starting a grassroots movement? Morgan, or couch roots? But yes, the bigger those channels get, the more others will emulate the script of finding and helping the homeless. Yes, or the homeless. Joel, I'm not seeing how this could take 100,000 people off the streets of LA. Morgan, agreed. LA's a tough one. But why do you think they're there? Become actors like me? Joel, no, of course not. Morgan, they're there because it's easier. It's warm. Can't remember what I wrote. They're not thrown in jail as long as they keep to themselves. And they do. They develop a system to survive, but not thrive or get out of their dilemma. But they're not thriving or getting out of their dilemma. Joel agreed. Morgan. So they're not being paid to shit on people's cars in front of City Hall? Joe. No. Morgan. Imagine the end of the story, Joe. The grand finale. Joe. Closing credits. Morgan. I could just narrate the park. There's a cute girl beside me on the bench holding a dog typing into a laptop. She just kissed the dog's head. Gross. Morgan, exactly. Joe, no homelessness in the world? Morgan, North America to start, but yes, it will quickly spread to every corner of the world. Joe, Morgan, this is how I see it, Joe. And no, I'm not psychic, just observant. Or by the way, listener, I've hacked the library system. You're only supposed to get 2 hours of computer time a day, but what they don't tell you is as soon as you finish that 2 hours and you go away, it starts resetting basically minute for minute. So if you go work at the computer for 2 hours, you go record a podcast in the park for 2 hours, or go for a walk in the park for 2 hours, or do whatever the fuck else for 2 hours, and you come back, you got another 2 hours. So on and so forth. I'm sure they don't care. I'm just pointing out the flaw in their IT system. Well, it works great for me. Morgan, North America to start, but yes, it would quickly spread to every corner of the world. Joel, Morgan, this is how I see it, Joel. And no, I'm not psychic, just observant. Morgan leans back, smirking faintly as Joe processes this. Then boom, the lights go out. Boom. Ba-boom. Eight to 12-year-old girl riding a bike. She just ran into the steps. I'm not sure she knows how brakes work. This is how I see it, Joe. And no, I'm not psychic, just observant. Morgan leans back, smirking faintly as Joe processes. Then boom, the lights go out. Note to Mel, do the same 1.5 second blackness thing to bring Joe back into frame. The lights return. Morgan is not there. Blah, blah, blah. I'm sure you get it by now if you really are Mel Gibson. End scene. Took exactly 30 minutes and 21 seconds. That's a big-ass scene. It's almost like a movie in itself. Or an episode in a TV series. Netflix series, Amazon series, YouTube series, Substack series. Guys will get off their fucking ass on the AI and make it more affordable. Just run this script through AI and Let it make the fucking movies. I think there's a minimum amount of times I need to say the word fuck every day just to get it out of my fucking system. In school of comedy, that could be a class. Just a class where everyone fucking swears every fucking sentence. Just for the creative outlook. Or the creative output. Creative outlet. Creative whatever. I'm getting jealous of that girl with the dog now. So I'm gonna end this. And we'll see where things go from here. Reader, listener, podcast book reader, whatever. End recording, David J. Motherfuckers.